minutes from now. Fondly called as AAWI, I extend a warm welcome to all of you, Honorable Justice, Chief Justice Shri Devendrakumar Upadhyaya, Honorable Justice Srimati Retd, our Chief Guest this evening, Retired Justice Allahabad High Court, Shri Dilip Bhosale, Chief Justice Learned Advocate General, Shri and our President of BBA, Shri Nitin. I also welcome our special guest this evening, Senior Advocate and our AAWI member, Shri beloved spouse to late Advocate Suhasini Mutalik, and family members of late Advocate Vijay Tulpule. I request our President, Shri, to welcome our Honorable Chief Justice with a bouquet of flowers. And our member, to welcome him with a box of sweets. To welcome Justice Retd and a member Shri to welcome Honorable Retired Chief Justice Shri Dilip Bhosale and Supreme to hand over a box of sweets and love to the stage. Beloved AG, Shri Devendrakumar. And Siddhi Bhosale to welcome Nitin Naithakkar. We're gathered here this evening not just to remember some stalwarts in our profession, but to celebrate the lives of these people who have made a significant mark and contribution to our profession. These are people who have inspired us and led a path for us. As the Vice President of AAWI, I would now only say that unveiling of portraits of these special people, we are honoring the past just as much as we look forward to an inspiring future. We bring back these special people into our barrooms to be here forever and to be viewed and remembered by all people visiting our barrooms and our prestigious High Court. These portraits that will adorn our High Court building and the High Court walls help us preserve the memories that have touched our lives professionally and in many other ways. We will be unveiling 3 portraits this evening, that is of late Advocate Cornelia Sorabji. She has the many firsts to her credit. She was the first Indian lady lawyer who passed her LLB in the year 1897 from the University of Bombay, and that was not a game changer itself. It was very admirable for her to have a fight a heavy battle, a battle that she led and advocated for women's rights even before being a woman, being an advocate, specifically for her own degree in law, even before studying law. Late Advocate Vijay, as we all fondly remember and many of my seniors will know, was known as a performer inside the courtrooms as well as on the playgrounds and on the fields. He practiced on the civil side as well as the criminal side, and much like his senior Shri, a true sportsman in all spirit and often termed as a rare breed from his seniors and friends is what I am told. Mr. Tulpule was a huge cricket fan, and the AAWI has been organizing the Vijay Tulpule Cricket Championship Trophy for the last few years, to which there has been a great response. It has kept all its members young and active. And it's no wonder that the AAWI members continue to be the boys at the bar. We also are unveiling the portrait of late Advocate Suhasini Mutalik. Advocate Mutalik was born into a well-known family in Satara with members in the legal profession and also the armed forces. She was a fierce feminist, but at the same time held high regard for traditional and cultural practices. She was a very strong, bold, passionate lawyer, and it's not surprising to now hear that she was asked or invited by late Justice Shri to join the judiciary at the age of 35 years. She was a multifaceted personality and an inspiration to all young lawyers at the bar, and I'm told that often she would make heads turn. Besides being a very good lawyer, she was excellent at many things and lived her life with zest. Advocate Mutalik, who left us at the age of 64 in the year 2022, can be truly called a Fauji ki beti and will always be remembered for her feisty nature. May I request our Honorable Chief Justice and Justice Mr. Bhosale to kindly unveil the portraits now. Honorable Chief Justice will unveil the portrait for Justice Tulpule. Advocate Vijay Tulpule. By Shri May I now request Justice Dilip to unveil the second portrait of late Advocate Sorabji. This magnificent oil painting is done by Shri from Raigad district. May I request Justice Bhosale to do the honors for the third portrait of late Advocate Suhasini Mutalik. Truly grateful to have you there, Mr. David. Thank you so much. Due to some work commitments, Justice David had to leave in a short while. Nari Shakti and women empowerment are words that may not find much significance in today's day and age. When we hear the story of Cornelia Sorabji, the first Indian lady lawyer, or Anandibai Joshi, who was the first Indian lady doctor who did her MBBS or her degree in medicine from Pennsylvania in the year 1889. If I may transpose it all back to not just a few decades, but over a century and a half back, it was the time of the national uprising in the year 1957, our first war for independence. The then prevailing circumstances of widespread uprising against the British rule in India that had begun by then. The story of Cornelia Sorabji is set in this background, when there was no concept of freedom and liberty, much less any rights or any kind of preferences for women who mostly under wheels themselves. Born on 15th November 1866 in a Parsi family in the district Nashik, Bombay Presidency, British India, she was one amongst 10 children. She spent her childhood initially in Belgaum and later in Pune. Her sister was an educator and a missionary, and her brother was a medical doctor. Therefore, she aspired to learn and get good education. She received her education both at home and at mission schools. She was also the first lady student in Deccan College, Pune. And mind you, that wasn't easy either. She faced closed doors or slammed doors on her face in her early days in college, but she fought it out and she continued her education. She was determined, secured top ranks in her final examination, and again was the first lady to graduate from the University of Mumbai. This entitled her to a government scholarship and to study further in India in 1889. Though she was denied a scholarship at Oxford, she studied there again with the influence of certain well-known people in India. The first Indian lady to study in a British university, and she finally passed her bachelor's in law in the year 1892. But her degree again was withheld, as women were not allowed to practice law. She studied law at the Mumbai University thereafter, coming back from London. In some courts, in some places in India, various cities, she would approach, she was
नाही ना समोरूनच यायला लागत मला वाटलं तिकडे येऊ
and it took Cornelia 30 years to get her degree and finally got it right to practice in London. In India, the doors for women to practice law opened only in the year 1921, and so she returned to India and enrolled herself as a barrister at the High Court, Calcutta. And again, she was the first lady to practice law in India. It was the Allahabad High Court that took the lead and allowed the application of Ms. Sorabji by its judgment delivered on 24th August 1921. She was not just a lawyer, but also an author, a reformist, a social worker, and a lot of inspiration to all the young female, not just lawyers, but everybody in India. In 1929, she dedicated herself to social service and worked extensively on the abolition of child marriages and the practice of sati. She passed away on 6th July 1954 at the age of 88. Even after a century and more, her work is remembered and acknowledged. And recently, we have all seen, just on the Google Doodles, I think in 2017, her 151st birthday was celebrated by Google by having a doodle in her name or with her pictures. Our inspiration to all, this is also the first portrait of a lady here in High Court, Mumbai. I now request one of the juniors of Mr. Vijay Tulpule, Bharat, who is also a treasurer with AAWI, to kindly say a few words on late Shri Vijay Tulpule.
Good evening, everybody. The Honorable Chief Justice of Bombay High Court, the Honorable Dilip Bhosale sir, former Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court, the Honorable Devendrakumar sir, Advocate General of Maharashtra, Shri, the President of UP, and the family members of the Mr. Tulpule and Mutalik family, the honorable judges of the Honorable High Court, and the members of the bar and court. But today we have assembled here for unveiling of portraits of late Srimati Cornelia Sorabji, late Mr. Vijay Tulpule and late Srimati Suhasini Mutalik. In regards to late Mr. Devendrakumar Tulpule, he was a lawyer who had a long practice on the criminal side and a distinguished member of the Advocates Association of Western India, who left for his heavenly abode on 29 September 2017 at Mumbai at the age of 74 years. Mr. Tulpule was born on 22nd September 1943 in Mumbai. Mr. Tulpule was the son of a renowned cardiologist, Mr. Tulpule. His family was a part of the freedom struggle in the pre-independence period. Mr. Tulpule was brought up and nurtured by various freedom fighters who adhered to having socialist ideology. He took his education from King George High School at Dadar, Mumbai. After schooling from King George School in 1959, he went to Elphinstone College and later on shifted to St. Xavier's College, from where he graduated in 1964. He did LLB from Government Law College, Mumbai in 1967. He was enrolled as an advocate on 27th March 1968 with the Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa and began his professional career from Dadar Court, mainly on the criminal side. He joined the chamber of late Mr. Ramrao Adi and took his basic lessons in advocacy from Mr. Ramrao Adi. Mr. Tulpule was basically a person who by nature loved sports and had a good sports personality. He contributed in the field of sport. He was president of Maharashtra Central District Volleyball Association and president of Maharashtra Carom Association. He was acknowledged as one of the prominent cricketers of the era. Before he entered the legal profession, he was one of the probables in the team of Hon'ble in the Retd Trophy tournament. However, as a destiny would have it, he got enrolled as an advocate in 1968 and then began his practice at a bar. However, it is said that his complete forthrightness obstructed his electrum from becoming a legend in the cricket. Mr. Tulpule himself was instrumental in organizing cricket tournaments for the members of the bar for at least 25 years during his practicing days. His role in organizing the cricket tournament was so important and so was his enthusiasm for cricket that after his demise, Advocate Association of Western India has been organizing cricket matches in the name of Vijay Tulpule Cricket Championship Trophy. Mumbai Cricket Association is also organizing Vijay Tulpule Cricket Championship Trophy for under 13 teams. Mr. Tulpule was also associated with various social and sport organizations, not only in Mumbai but also outside of Mumbai. He promoted other sports such as volleyball, carom, table tennis and badminton. Mr. Tulpule was an authority on criminal law and specialized himself as a very good trial court advocate on the criminal side. However, he also practiced in other branches like civil, industrial and constitutional law. He appeared in all cases for various litigations from different walks of life. He appeared before the revenue courts and also before the Supreme Court. Considering his expertise and knowledge of law, he officiated in the post of government leader and public prosecutor of the state of Maharashtra in the High Court in 90s, and sensitive cases like shoe scam, Sri Krishna Commission, stock exchange matters, confirmations appeals, habeas corpus petition, and so also many such other high-profile matters were efficiently handled by him. He was forthright in handling matters on behalf of the government as well as litigants. It is said that in an appeal which came up for hearing after 13 years, Mr. Tulpule convened the division bench comprising of Shri Justice N.U. Arumugam and Srimati Justice R.P. Desai that the acquittal of the accused was incorrect and the Bombay High Court decided the matter convicting the accused for the offence of murder under section 302 of the Indian Penal Code. It was a heinous crime inasmuch as the accused had killed his wife and mutilated her body. When the division bench called upon Mr. Tulpule as to why he was not pressing for the death sentence. He said that as an officer of the court, he argued on the point of sentence and as a representative of the state of Maharashtra, explained the circumstances and law as to why he was not pressing only for life imprisonment and not to death sentence. The bench thereupon asked Mr. Tulpule whether the court should record his statement. Mr. Tulpule promptly responded by saying, I insist that my statement be recorded. When the matter was taken up before the Supreme Court of India, the Honorable Supreme Court endorsed the stand taken by Mr. Tulpule as a government leader and public prosecutor. Mr. Tulpule also appeared as an advocate for the state before the Lentil Commission, and he also represented his client before the Sri Krishna Commission. Mr. Tulpule had vast experience in all the fields of law and he contributed to the legal fraternity along with his juniors who were more than 45 numbers including me. He was a successful and accomplished criminal lawyer both in trial and appellate court. He was a brilliant cross-examiner. Mr. Tulpule as an advocate was a complete follower of the procedural law and the Evidence Act, and he never compromised on the basic principles. Apart from being an advocate, he was a great human being and was always promoting and advocating human rights. After his term as a government leader, he resumed his private practice where he was well received by the legal fraternity. Mr. Tulpule was also known for his contribution to the legal fraternity as he was instrumental in the agitation in the year 1992-94 to support conferring unlimited jurisdiction on City Civil Court, Mumbai. He undertook a fast unto death for the transfer of jurisdiction and ultimately the state government acceded to the demand. Vijay Tulpule went on an indefinite hunger strike for ensuring that the jurisdiction of the City Civil Court be at par with district court, that is for transferring matters of over ₹1 crore to the City Civil Court from Bombay High Court. His hunger strike went on for 6 days. On the 6th day, the then Law Minister Ramrao Adi paid him a personal call, requested that he break his fast and assured him of prompt action, and ultimately the state government acceded to the demand. As a junior of Shri Vijay Tulpule, I can describe him as a man who wore his heart on his sleeve. He was ruthless at a time when the occasion needed him to be, but was equally gentle. Even the smallest sorrow could make his eyes moist. He was a very generous person, but never spoke about his charities. A hardcore trial lawyer and a phenomenal cross-examiner. He was also a great teacher, where his methods of teaching might have appeared to the outsider as a bit unconventional, but they did give us the juniors the strength to stand on their legs independently. Well, he was a tiger telling the cubs, I can't feed you forever, so you will have to learn to hunt for yourself. I am extremely proud to be associated with Advocate Vijay Tulpule. Sir, since the day I started my practice as a lawyer before this honorable court, I am eventually fortunate to be a part of this ceremony of unveiling the portrait of my Guru. I thank everyone present here, including the dignitaries, to be a part of this ceremony. Thank you very much.
Mr. Bhosale to kindly say a few words and leave her with Suhasini and Bharat.
My brother Justice Upadhyaya, the Chief Justice of Bombay High Court, Advocate General Mr. Sarab, President of the Bombay Bar Association, Mr. Dilip, President of the Advocates Association of Western India, Mr. Retd, Secretary of the Bar, Mr. Shri, Honorable Judges of the Bombay High Court, seniors, juniors, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. I am thankful to the President of the Bar and his team for inviting me to unveil the portrait of Shrimati Suhasini Mutalik. See, the coincidence today is that we are unveiling 3 portraits, out of which 2 are of women lawyers. One is the first woman lawyer in the country and other is the first portrait of Advocate Association of India's member advocate, Shri Suhasini. I'm really fortunate to be here to witness this event and also to unveil the portrait of Shri Suhasini. I'm standing in front of you all with mixed feelings. In fact, I feel conflicted between being happy and sad. Sad because I never thought in my wildest dream that I would ever be invited in the Bar Association for unveiling portrait of Suhasini Mutalik, to whom I always considered as my younger sister. She and our family, we both belong to Satara district, and also wife of my very dear friend, Bharat. I'm happy because after more than 6.5 years, I'm sitting on the dais with my brother Justice Devendrakumar, your Chief Justice, our Chief Justice of my High Court. I shared bench with him in Allahabad, in Lucknow, for quite some time, and I always found him to be one of the best judges I had in Allahabad, who used to give me excellent assistance, absolutely brilliant judge, one of the brilliant judges we had there, and therefore say that I'm also happy to be here today. Brother, I would like to tell one incident. Suhasini Mutalik had come to Allahabad. Actually, she had come to UP, maybe for visiting few places in UP like Varanasi, Ayodhya. She had come with her 2-3 friends. When I was informed, I called her and extended all courtesies. I was sitting at Lucknow. She came and stayed in Allahabad at the chief residence. My wife was there to take care of Suhas, and Suhas is a popular name amongst all of us. So she took care of Suhas and her friends. Then they came to Lucknow, and I told her that you must come and see our Lucknow meeting. So she came to Lucknow meeting. I had told one of my PAs to take her for a run in the meeting, and she came to our court hall. Our court hall, when incidentally, and it is a coincidence that you were sitting with me on the dais, and when you saw them with my PAs, we both saw them. You asked me, Chief Sahab, ye aapke family members lag rahe? I said yes, she is my cousin, and that is how I introduced her. Perhaps that was the first time she saw you on the dais. And today, when we are unveiling her portrait, we are again on the dais. Therefore, I feel a little sad that she is no more with us. Her death was a shock not only to her family members, but perhaps every friend of Prasad and Suhas who are present today. I see almost all of them here, and many employers. Suhasini Mutalik, she actually came from Satara, from Mutalik family. I remember she joined bar in Bombay in 1983-84, sometime in 1983-84. When I saw first time, I did not know her. I had never seen her, never met her. But I came to know about her name. The moment somebody told me about her name, I said, is she from Satara? Yes, she is from Satara, originally from Satara. So Mutalik family in Satara was very well known. Her grandfather was a great lawyer of his days. Her uncle, Gavishankar Mutalik, I always used to hear a lot of things from my father about Gavishankar Mutalik. That family and my family were very close to each other. Her father was a freedom fighter. He was in the armed forces, but he was also a freedom fighter. He was in jail for 2 years. So she's a daughter of freedom fighter. He is one of his inmates in the jail was Morarji Desai, the Prime Minister of our country, who became Prime Minister of our country thereafter. So she has that heritage, she has that legacy. And from that family, she comes from. And Since her father had a frequent transfer, she ultimately settled in Pune, completed her education, schooling, college, law, LLM, everything she did in Pune. And thereafter she joined chamber of one of the renowned and a very famous lawyer, Mr. Shri, as a junior. Within short time, she acquired a very good name, reputation, very bright lawyer. She was found to be a very bright lawyer by her senior. Her senior, after noticing her qualities and seeing her ability and potential, suggested her, why don't you go and practice in Bombay High Court? So she decided ultimately, and she started commuting between Bombay and Pune every day by train. It takes exactly 7 hours. One has to spend 7 hours in the train every day for coming and going to Pune. She did that. She was very hardworking, and within short time she acquired a very good practice, and she was known as one of the busy juniors in those days. I remember, brother, one incident. I had not seen her arguing any case in the court. There was one matter, it was arising from Retd. She was appealing for the petitioner, I was appealing for the respondent. I took her very lightly for simple reason, not because it was Suhasini who was appealing, but I took it lightly. It was against concurrent findings of fact. And usually High Court very rarely interfere in concurrent findings. So I was absolutely relaxed. The matter was before Justice Bharat, if I remember correctly. And she started arguing. The way she started arguing and the way she argued, it was a brilliant argument. I will tell you, I never thought that she would argue on this line. She argued the particular question of law. I will not give all details, it may not be possible also. And believe me, I was thinking that I will not even call upon. But I was seriously called upon by the judge, and he said that, yes, Mr. Bhosale, what do you want to say? I am inclined to allow this petition. I started literally shivering because I was also junior, I was also not very senior advocate at that time. So I tried my best, but I lost. And it did not end there. The most interesting is, and I must tell and I must frankly admit that, the lawyer who had given me that matter, thereafter never handed over any matter to me. Till my elevation, he never came to me for giving any handing over any matter to me. Although he used to come and have a cup of tea with me, and then would go and sit in front of Suhas and give her matters. So this was the quality of Suhas Mutalik when she was absolutely young lawyer. Then, of course, our friend Prasad and Suhas married sometime in 1985, 86 or 86 perhaps, if I remember correctly. You know, when they married, Prasad Allahabad, who is present today, will pardon me to say this, she had a better practice. And she was doing better. And I am sure that even Prasad will accept it. But after marriage, she must have noticed she had an X-ray vision or X-ray eyes. She could see some qualities, merit, ability, capacity of Prasad. And then somehow she started encouraging Prasad more to practice only in High Court. Otherwise, Prasad was struggling. He was running from pillar to post. Sometimes, almost every month, he would go to Bhopal for appearing in the matter. So that was the demand of his practice. But then Prasad started focusing in the High Court. Suhas did not stop. She continued her practice. But sometimes even in her own matters also she started asking Prasad to appear as a counsel. And then he picked up so well, and he started doing so well. Many of the juniors started engaging him as a senior advocate. Having seen his performance, his ability, his legal acumen, his contribution to the development of law, the High Court designated him as a senior advocate. And thereafter, nobody could stop Prasad Allahabad, and then he became one of the best senior lawyers in the High Court, and more particularly, appellate side, on appellate side. He was was the best because he used to appear. When he became senior advocate, I was already on the dais. So he used to appear before me, and the way he would argue, sometimes even juniors would come and sit behind him to listen to him. And that is how Prasad became senior advocate. During last 2-3 years, he is physically away from all of us due to some ailment. But his willpower has brought him out of that ailment also. And I am sure, and I have no doubt in my mind, that soon we all will see him again in action, walking through these corridors of the High Court, running from one court to another court, and the juniors to listen to his learned arguments. Prasad, God bless you and your daughters. I am sure that, and I want to come and see you running from one court to another court in the corridors of this court. But though Suhas encouraged Prasad, she started focusing her more attention on her daughters. They were very small, and at the same time she also continued her practice. She appeared in several matters, very high-stake matters, very famous matters. One of which I can refer to several, but one I can certainly. She appeared in one contempt petition. The contempt notice was issued to the very renowned Marathi editor, Mr. Retd, under contempt of court act, and Ram Jetmalani was appearing for him. And Ram Jetmalani took a defense that whatever Retd has written is the truth. And as against that, Suhas Mutalik took a stance and argued the matter. I was present in the court. It was, in real sense, it was a learned argument, and she convinced the court that truth is no defense in contempt matters. And ultimately she succeeded. And that judgment ultimately led to amend the contempt of court act, where the truth is also introduced as a good defense. That was Suhas' ability and acumen. And if she was there today, I'm sure that she was offered leadership, but she would have even offered this honor of senior advocate also. But it happened so sudden. I remember just 1.5 months before she passed away, she called me and said, she used to sometimes call me sir. I said, Suhas, please don't call me sir. You can either call me Dilip or whatever you want, but don't call me sir. So she said that no, Sakhi's marriage is finalized and it is on so date. I want you to save that date. I said, don't worry, you have told me I am saving the date. She said that no, me and Prasad will personally come and invite you. I said, no need, you focus your attention on other preparations of the marriage. And as far as I am concerned, I will be there as a part of your family, don't worry. And then suddenly, few days before the marriage, she passed away. That was a real shock to every one of us, including her daughter Sahi and Sakhi. But anyway, sometimes God is very unkind. And as we always say in Marathi, चांगली माणसं देवाला सुद्धा आवडतात. As a lawyer, she appeared before me in several matters. There are some matters she appeared, and there are reported judgments also. If you find if you look into the reporters in those days, you will find that she was a very, very great lawyer and contributed to the law to the extent best possible to her. Suhas is a person whom I would never ever forget. Prasad and Suhas and their daughters were always, I find them, absolutely happy family. Just, I hope Prasad will pardon me to say this, but once I asked Prasad, what is the secret of your happy married life? He said, Dilip, it is very simple. All minor decisions, simple decisions, negligible decisions Suhas take in the family, and all important decisions I take. And we don't interfere with each other's decisions. So I became curious to know what he is talking about exactly. When I asked him what minor decisions or small decisions you are talking about, he said that where to buy flat, how big it should be, then which car we should buy, what color it should have. All those decisions, I said, you must be taking. No, these are all minor, negligible decisions which Suhas takes. And I just don't interfere with her. I became further curious and asked him, then what decisions do you take? He said, I take very important decisions like whether God exists, what should be the policy of Indian government on cross-border terrorism, and like that many other international and national issues I decided. And she doesn't interfere with me. That is a secret, actually joke apart. But he gave a very good message, which I think we all of us should take it. That if your wife has the ability and capacity, please encourage her. Don't interfere with her area in the family. I'm sure that we all will become happy. Those who are not, they can expect this between families. There are a lot of things which I can speak, but I don't know. The time also should permit me. Apart from being a lawyer, she was also a multifaceted personality, as mentioned by Vice President. She was wildlife enthusiast, excellent photographer. She had good cameras and lenses, and she used to go for photography at different jungles in the country and even outside the country. She was an animal lover. She, at one point of time, she had 14 dogs, of which she was taking care. Believe me, 14 dogs, not only at her residence, but even at farm and everywhere. And most of the dogs she used to adopt were stray dogs. This is something exceptional quality which I found in her. I remember she had given me also dog. One Prasad, and I said, Prasad, even I would like to have a dog. And I brought it. My children were small. We couldn't take care of for 2 days. Then I called Prasad one night and Prasad said, oh, we can't take care of this dog. Please, I want to return this to you. He said, okay, bring it tomorrow. And next day I went and dropped that dog at this place. Thereafter, maybe 5-6 years thereafter, I had gone to his farm once. And then he called that dog, asked, Boku, come here. Come here, I said, I did not hear it. What are you calling? Whom are you calling? He said, that dog. I said, what is Boku? Bhosale putra. He said, I was shocked. Because they named that dog by Boku. Because they said, she was taking all dogs like her children. And she always would say that, these dogs are my children. And the way she used to look after the dogs, I don't think any one of us can do that. And I would be the last person. Then she was also a sports person. Then good artist. She used to also make paintings. Those paintings are there. We all have, those who have visited this place, we all have seen those paintings. She was also a trekker and very helpful in nature. She would help one and all. Even in the bar association, many of the youths who were working in the bar association, you ask them, even they tell today also that Mutalik madam, that one may have that was her reputation. After brief illness, she passed away and left not only her family in shock, but all of us, survived by Prasad Akipalkar, Sayyid Sakhi, and all the family members. I wish them all the very best. God bless you and your family. And always remember one thing, Suhas is there, she is always looking at you. Whatever she would like, please do that. All three of you should do that. And make her happy in the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing such wonderful memories. In fact, I'm also told that both of you were producers for non-vegetarian food. And there wouldn't be a day that you would cook something nice and not tell you your orders. I know. May I now request Learned AG to say a few words.
Honorable Chief Justice, Upadhyaya, Honorable Justice 5 minutes back by a WhatsApp message from Karachi that I should speak. And I'm really not prepared to speak. So I'll just take 1 or 2 minutes. I've always really respected and appreciated the tradition of the Appellate side of the Advocates Association of Western India to remember the stalwarts of the bar and to acknowledge them by putting up a portrait of theirs in their library. Because I always believe that the putting up of a portrait is not just a symbolic gesture. It means and achieve much more and achieve a much bigger purpose. It is firstly an acknowledgement by the bar of their members to achieve prominence in the profession, and at the same time, the portrait serves as an inspiration to the younger generation when they look up at that portrait to try and emulate it, to try and abide by the principles with which they conducted their profession. So today's day, when we have unveiled the portraits of 3 great lawyers, is an important day. And the 3 lawyers whose portraits are unveiled today were lawyers who are not just successful in the profession, but they are an inspiration to the generation next about the manner they conducted themselves, the manner and the degree of fairness with which they discharge their role as an advocate in court. As Shri was in Tulpule very often, and also the privilege of knowing Ms. Mutalik, both Ms. Sorabji and Ms. Mutalik started profession in an era where there were not many women in the profession. Today, we have a great deal of awareness about women's rights. We have a great deal of awareness about encouraging women in the profession. But those were days where there were very few women in the profession. In fact, Ms. Sorabji was not even allowed to enroll as a lawyer. So these were lawyers, the really lawyers, who really, what they say, broke the glass ceiling and set an example and laid down the path for future women lawyers to come into the profession and succeed. I heard Justice Bhosale say that Madam Mutalik had encouraged Mr. Bharat as a spouse in the profession. I hope and I really pray that many of our men lawyers who have their spouse as a lawyer will do the same and equally stand by and support their wife in the profession. So these are persons who are an inspiration in different ways, and each one of them have set an example which, if we try to emulate and follow, not only will we be good lawyers, not only we might achieve greatness as lawyers, but more important than that, we may become good human beings. And therefore they are inspiration in more than one way. So Tulpule, being a sports person, conducted the profession also like a gentleman's game as cricket. So these are various things we have to try and notice what made them reach where they reached. It was not just law, it was much beyond that. They strive, they struggle, and you should try and draw inspiration from them. So I really congratulate Mr. Retd and his entire team for today's event. And I won't take much of your time today. We'll be looking forward to hearing the Honorable Chief Justice. So have a good evening and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I would not leave an opportunity while you were on the dais and not allowing you to say a few words. It's always inspiring, and in fact, Lordship Justice Madhav Zamdar and Justice Deri, it was their idea. It is the portraits here are, in fact, even the portrait of Advocate Sorabji is basically conceptualized by them. So I'm thankful to both of you, Lordships. Chief Justice to kindly share his thoughts on the occasion.
my own chief, Honorable Justice Dilip Bhosale, my esteemed brother and sister judges, office bearers and members of Advocates Association of Western India, Mr. Thakkar, President of Hon'ble Bar Association, senior members of the bar, junior members of the bar, family members of Mrs. Mutalik and Mr. Tulpule, ladies and gentlemen. I was not supposed to speak today on this occasion. At the last moment I was asked to speak. I said, all right, let me say a few words. I can't just say no to any request made by the bar members. The same thing, I feel very happy, and the reason of my happiness are double. I witnessed today two connections between Bombay and Allahabad. One, of course, Mrs. Bhosale is here, whether I am here, and the other connection, which has relevance to the occasion of unveiling the portrait, is in relation to Madam Cornelia Sorabji. As you know now, that she was the first enrolled lawyer in the country. Though she passed her LLB examination from Bombay University way back in 1897. But she appeared in the leaders examination conducted by Allahabad High Court in 1923. Even thereafter, after passing the examination, during the leaders examination of Allahabad High Court, she was not allowed to practice because there was some ban on her. She started practicing law only in the year 1927. So therefore, I feel very happy today to be part of this where you are remembering and acknowledging not only the contribution in law made by Cornelia, but you are also remembering her struggle, which has paved the way to so many women lawyers coming up in the country today. In the situation, I may share a data with you about the women lawyers or women joining the legal profession. In the state of Maharashtra, in the district division, the public service conducts the examination for recruitment of the lower cadre judges. The women candidates who got succeeded, their percentage is something around 70. So out of 100 judges being recruited here in the state of Maharashtra, 70 are women. Similar is the figure in the state of Uttar Pradesh. And you see how many students are being enrolled in the National Law University on the basis of the GLAD examination. You will find at least 60 to 65% are girl students. But just imagine the struggle which started in 1897 when Madam Sorabji passed the LLB examination, and the time which the girls, the women of the society have taken to come to this situation. But just imagine the kind of struggle Madam Sorabji would have undergone at that time. You know, what exactly is the importance or significance of having a ceremony like a portrait unveiling ceremony? Every society, to my understanding, has a tendency of creating icons. Icons not only to look up to them in the time of crisis, not only to be inspired, but also to acknowledge their contribution in the development of the society. So to my understanding, as I said, portrait unveiling ceremony of a lawyer is not only acknowledgement of his or her contribution to the profession, to the field of law, but it is also creation of an icon to whom we can look up in the times of crisis, difficulty, problems. You know, when you hang the portrait of a lawyer in the bar room, you permit yourself to be constantly watched by him. You sometimes also permit yourself to be constantly stared by him. That you should always remember. By organizing such functions, acknowledging the contribution of your icons, you are also, in a way, cautioning yourself that you have to keep the path which has already been travelled by your forefathers and foremothers. That, to my understanding, is the significance of such cases. Every speaker, my predecessors, have spoken so fondly about all the three great persons whose portraits have been unveiled today. Very fondly. Justice Bhosale has very fondly remembered Shrimati Mutalik. Tulpule has also been remembered very fondly. Now, what does it show? Again, my impression is that showing such fondness, showing such fond remembrance to your seniors is an indicator as to how cohesive we are as a society here. That makes me feel very, very happy to find everybody present here, acknowledging the contribution, remembering very fondly the contributions made by your seniors, and also permitting yourself, allowing yourself to be constantly watched and even stared by your seniors, by your icons. With these words, my chief will permit me to say a few words about the chief also. Two great qualities which I observed in him was that he very easily permitted dissent. Once the matter was over, we sat together, discussed with the liberty that, brother, if you have any other thought, please share with me. You are at liberty to express your own opinion. So that's a very great quality of a judge, especially when judge is senior. This I have enjoyed this company there. He has been mentor. By the time Justice Bhosale was there as a chief, I had grown a bit in the sense, a judge in his life takes many words. First word, when you take oath as an additional judge. The second word, when you take oath as a permanent judge. Third word, when you grow up, to become a bit senior. So Providence had it that I was allowed to be Justice Bhosale in my third birth. So, but at the time when you take the third birth as a judge, you are still not very, very sure. So his contribution to me in my life as a judge is that he instilled so much of trust in myself, my own skills as a judge. I will never forget Justice Bhosale for this contribution made by him to my life, personally as also as a judge. I would conclude by again expressing my happiness to be present on this occasion. I thank the organizers of this function not only for inviting me, but for organizing the function itself. I must thank my brother and sister judges who are present, some of whom even envisaged this program, for that they are. All the members present here of the bar should be thankful. I would again express my satisfaction and happiness, and I may again observe that kind of cohesion in the society which I find amongst the lawyers is perhaps missing anywhere else in the society. With these words, I will take leave of all present here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Truly grateful. This is probably the last function of our calendar year 2024. And sir, you nailed it right. I mean, it was just perfect there. All I can say is it is only looking at the legends, the living legends like you all, that the bar will grow. And it is only with that intention in mind, the AAWI is conducting these treatment programs. Truly grateful for all of you to be here. May I request our secretary to give the vote of thanks.
Our respected Honorable Chief Justice, Devendrakumar sir, Honorable Justice Dilip, former Chief Justice of Allahabad, Honorable Judges, respected Advocate Devendrakumar sir, respected Presidents of both the association, Senior Advocate President respected seniors and my dear friends. The association is extremely grateful to Honorable Justice Retd and Honorable Justice Bharat sir, who cherished the greatness of Cornelia Sorabji and reminded us about the need to celebrate life of such a great legal scholars, and therefore we got inspiration to hold today's function for unveiling portraits of Cornelia Sorabji, Vijay and Suhasini. Vijay Tulpule, fondly known as Vijay, was a guide of our association, with a ruling practice mostly on the criminal side and well known for cross-examination of witnesses. Contribution of Vijay to the association is quite large. We are aware that there are not less than 40 advocates who are doing extremely well are actually from the chamber of Tulpule sir. I am also told that juniors of Tulpule sir are spread all over Maharashtra and practicing in different districts and taluka levels as well. Thus, contribution of Tulpule sir is not only limited to association but the entire state of Maharashtra. Every year we hold cricket matches in the name of Vijay Tulpule Trophy, and this year trophy was won by our senior advocates in the match which was held against Honorable Chief Justice, where they really missed on all-round performance of our Honorable Chief Justice. Our another well-known advocate and probably the first lady advocate of the 1980s, who during her initial days used to commute daily by train from Pune to Bombay to reach this honorable court. Madam, as a young and dashing advocate, earned a lot of fame from her initial practice at Pune. Thereafter, she shifted her practice before this honorable court. By her hard work, Mutalik Madam earned a lot of fame and was well-known advocate of this honorable court. At an early age of 35 years, Madam was offered judgeship of the Civil Court. However, her passion for law practice prevailed upon the situation. There are huge contributions of Madam to our association. This may not be the correct time, but with the team permission of the Honorable Chief Justice and Honorable Judges, on behalf of the association, request is being made to consider restoring of the court working hours from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Considering the difficulties faced by all the members, advocates, litigants and all the concerned for reaching the court during peak hours, the association and all its members would be indebted to the Honorable Chief Justice and other Honorable Judges if our long-standing request of restoring the court working hours from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. is accepted. My sincere apologies to the Honorable Chief Justice and other Honorable Judges for making this request and reminding of our pending representation at this function. Our association is truly indebted and thankful to respected Honorable Chief Justice Devendrakumar for not only remaining present for presiding over this function, but also granting permission to hold this function at this central court. On behalf of the association, I sincerely thank Honorable Justice Dilip for taking out some time from his busy schedule and accepting invitation of unveiling of portrait of 3 dynamic personalities. I also sincerely thank all the honorable judges for not only accepting our invitation but also remaining present for this function and making it memorable. The association is thankful to Honorable Advocate General Shri Devendrakumar sir for blessing this function. I also sincerely thank Dilip sir for remaining present. Similarly, I must also thank Senior Advocate presided sir for personally remaining present along with his daughters and family members. We are also thankful to our family members of Tulpule family who are present today. We also thank our respected seniors who are present, and I am also thankful to all my dear friends who have also gathered in large numbers. Lastly, on behalf of the association, we are thankful to the London Registrar General, Shri Joshi sir, Registrar, Pulingas and Shri Bharat sir, and all the London Registrars of the concerned departments for extending all their cooperation for holding this function. Thank you, and once now.
Since it's been a while, we have snacks for everybody on the left side as you get out from this courtroom. Can you all rise for the national anthem now?